Greetings, God bless, and welcome back. I am wondering if there's like mind control being done here in stores in Denver. Grocery stores play music way loud, other stores, thrift shops, especially like Goodwill, plays music way too loud here. And I'm wearing hearing protection. I'm like doing my due diligence. And I think it's really hard on employees as well. And every place is understaffed. Now, in the past, places were understaffed because businesses exploit their workers, they overwork their workers, they underpay their workers, and then the employer pays themselves with what they haven't paid their workers. They're supposed to be, there's probably supposed to be three times more the employees for something to get done, for everything to be done thoroughly. And that's just a business model that I have observed the past like 30 years. Employers are like, I gotta live the high on the hog, so I'm just gonna really exploit my entry level workers. And then people nowadays have the nerve to complain that entry level workers don't want to have to put stuff into their bloodstream in order to have a job. That employees have to deprive themselves of oxygen so they have a job, and people are complaining that there's not enough entry level workers to do this, like to not just be a slave and be abused, but to actually be deprived of oxygen and deprived of their original DNA, so they can work a crappy job and serve entitled people. Like this is people, all these entitled people deserve the ghost town that this creates. But anyways, so I just looked up, I put it in the description, like, what is up with this super loud music? And I just learned that for women, loud music creates a sense of a temporal distortion. Uh, we lose track of time when there's loud music. And I think stores want women to kind of get into this mind altered state and shop and shop and shop, because people are shopping at home, they're shopping on Amazon. There's probably not as many people shopping in stores. And so stores like Goodwill or the grocery store, they're losing profits. So they're playing such crazy loud music, especially Denver. And I'm wondering if like Denver is like a dying city because of the drug addiction and the demonization. I think Denver is demonized. I think it's a deep state hub. So you just look at the airport, they joke, "Oh yeah, we have gargoyles. We have a horse with red eyes that killed its sculptor called Lucifer." Ha ha ha. I mean, come on. Like, anyway, so it's like this satanic hub. And if you come here, it's funny, all the real estate people are like, yeah, oh, Denver and Boulder's so great. I mean, the homelessness and the mental illness here, the mental illness is like, it's like this demonized mental illness. Like I've always lived in major cities. I grew up in New York. I lived in San Francisco, and you know what? San Francisco always had poop on the streets. Partly why? Number one, there's not enough bathrooms for people. Number two, San Francisco's do not clean up after their dogs. Okay, that a lot of that poop is dog poop from well-heeled, entitled, rich people with dogs. And yeah, there was needles on the street in San Francisco. It's always been kind of run down. But before the real estate racket started, there were people could make it, and there was a culture, there was a mentality of 10 people moving into an apartment and being able to afford it. But nowadays, everybody is so selfish, so self-centered, and so entitled, and so emotionally and socially dwarfed. People do not know how to functionally live together. And also, there's just so much chronic illness. So it's very hard for somebody with chronic illness to live with somebody who's entitled, and there's no solidarity. People do not have solidarity anymore. There's these false political agendas, these politically correct, agendas that that people think is true solidarity, but it's not. But anyway, I digress. So I think stores are trying to get women to lose track of time and spend more money because those stores are not making as much of a profit as the stores would like. And yeah, it's really it's very uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, I wear hearing protection. I have these like, you know, earmuffs here. To try putting the the earplugs in and where the muffs like this industrial fan that turns on, and it's just really it's so loud. It's actually like, even though it's like 10 feet away or something like that, it hurts my neck. Like my neck is getting like sore because I'm just like, ah, when you're just constantly um hearing noise, even though you're trying to be like, I'm one with the noise. Yes, noise, I accept you. It's just a lot of noise pollution is toxic. And like these irresponsible companies and managers that force their employees to listen to like music, I don't know, 90 decibels or something all day. And I've had a job like that. I used to work at a software store, and they played it, pretty loud. And yeah, I think I turned down the volume or whatever. And it's like this supposed to be that there's this branding thing or whatever. And I think it's some type of mind control. I think they just want to exploit the customer at the expense of the employee, because when the employee has to spend all day tuning out this loud noise, tuning out like this abuse that, I mean, it's so unfair. And people like complain, everybody's complaining that there's not enough entry level workers, people don't want to work hard. you know it's so ridiculous because um employers don't want to just give an employee a decent environment. Like there's not a toilet paper or paper towels in the bathroom to wipe your hands. Burned any paper towels to wash your hands. There wasn't soap to wash your hands, but there was all this pressure to suffocate, to deprive yourself of oxygen. So people didn't care about poop on their hands. They didn't care if you were touching the doorknobs and touching the apples with your poopy hands. They just wanted you to have to do oxygen deprivation the past 2 years, because we're so worried that grandma's going to die. Uh, so, anyways, that's my little rant. Does loud music bother you? And like I wrote, I wrote the store, and I wrote two stores lately about their loud music, and I just looked it up to see if and it says that there's no regulation music you could play at the store. So I'm like, oh my, so they can play like 200, you know, um, I don't know what the hertz, like they can play like the sound of an airplane engine in a store, and there's no protection for the customer. Like it just seems like there should be some limits, like a noise ordinance. Um, so, anyways, what do you think about music being played too loud in stores or restaurants or things like that? Thank you for watching. God bless.